Welcome to this edition of Safety First. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. Today, we're coming to you from the new Emergency Communications Center for the City of Suffolk. A very busy place. Might seem a little quiet right now, but it can get very busy at times, certainly depending upon the radio traffic and incidents we have throughout the City of Suffolk. And to talk to us about this new amenity and really kind of how things have gone from the old site to the new site, we have an expert, and that expert is Dispatcher Supervisor Del Shannon. Del, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Tim.
Let's talk about let's back up and talk about what do y'all do here? What are some of the basic job responsibilities that you and your fellow coworkers are handling here?
Well, every day we're 911, so we answer the 911 calls. If people don't understand that, that's your police, fire, and your rescue.
Right.
That's every day, all day, 24-hour operation. So we answer from animal control calls to your rescue calls, where it may be something very, very minor, to just a cold, flu, and then your police calls, which can also be from break-ins to robbery in progress, your larcenies all day, or just a simple lockout of a car.
So it's emergency and non-emergency, because there's two, obviously there's 911, everybody knows that number, but there's also 923-2350, and I believe it's option 0 for the non-emergency calls. That rings here as well, correct?
That's correct.
24/7.
24/7.
Okay, so again, staffing-wise and you have folks handling the responsibilities, how many people approximately do you have staff a normal shift?
On a normal shift, well, I have, my normal shift will be 7. Actually, the 7th one will be someone in training right now.
Right.
So, and that's including the supervisor. So we're all working dispatchers, even the supervisor. So we're answering the calls the same, no difference. Everyone is a call taker.
Right.
And
now,
dispatchers.
Now, as we're sitting here today, they literally are tearing down where y'all used to be.
Yes.
And things have changed quite a bit from the old place to the new place, haven't they?
Oh, yes.
Talk about some of the changes that we can see both with our eyes, as well as kind of how some of the resources that are here, again, for everyone who's staffing the center.
Well, first of all, it is larger. We have windows you spoke of.
Right.
We have shades that we can raise up and down, whether we want to see the the sunlight to when it's dark. We enjoyed the snow when it was snowing, so we could actually see it this time instead of just on a monitor.
Correct.
And everyone have their own space. We're so spread out, but some kind of way we still migrate to one another. We still want to sit that close range that we've been having for several years. The capability that we have now are the radios and the telephones. The radios are clear, crisp clear. The traffic is louder, so we're having to adjust our volumes with the officers. And we're just still getting used to that now. And but we don't have as many hiccups with the radio that we used to have.
I got you.
Not as much loss in airtime as far as maybe the static.
Right.
It's clear.
Right.
The dispatchers like it because they can raise the workstations up and down. You can stand or sit.
Right.
And we have a little bit more area to walk around in. So yeah, we do like that. I mean, everything is basically the same. Nothing really changed except for just the room environment.
Correct. But of course, the technology also was upgraded as well, right?
Oh yeah, the technology, the 24 screens that we have, the monitors that we're watching.
Right.
We have world news, our local news, weather, and sports if we need to. Watch anything, but the most important thing is that it's there. We are watching live camera for North Main and Constance Road. We can change the channels. We're watching West Washington Street, North Main Street. That's the great part that we have. We actually see the traffic jams.
Right, and that gives you a better, if you will, a bird's eye view of what's going on, so that you can talk to the people in the field, let them know what's going on, because they can't see what's coming up ahead all the time.
Exactly.
They don't have the resources you have, and y'all are kind of the eyes and ears for them until they get on the scene in a lot of instances, correct?
Yeah, and it makes it's very unique because we are watching them monitor quite a bit, where we're watching the traffic. We had someone to call and say that it was a traffic jam on North Main Street just near the McDonald's, and sure enough, we looked up, we saw the car.
Sure.
So, just fun watching it. We couldn't help them, but we at least told them that someone was coming. Then we could tell the officers about where they were.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, this is great. It's fun coming to work. I think it's a little bit more cheer. We adjusting the lights. Everyone likes it a certain way.
Sure.
We have the air, we have the heating.
Right.
So no, it's fun coming in right now.
Well, I know in the old site, if I can remember back, and it kind of seemed like a bunker. y'all were in there, And here,
Yeah.
it's a lot more open. You
Yeah.
talk about you have the ability to actually see what the weather looks
We
like
can
outside with
see.
your own eyes, and that was something you really didn't have before. So again, you kind of more in touch with the world, and again, it's not only helping you and your coworkers when you're here, because again, you're working late shifts, and depending upon the circumstances, if we have a natural disaster or some kind of weather emergency, y'all are here, manning the phones, taking care of that, getting the communications going, helping people,
Yes.
and making sure our public safety personnel are where they need to be,
Oh, yes.
and know the information they need to have that's been reported. So certainly having a nice work environment for everyone here, better better technology, the communication you spoke about, the resources, just even from being able to stand up at your desk and get that desk raised to kind of change your,
Yes.
it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We have everything built into our system now where we just go to, it's more hands touch.
Right.
Everything that we have books, in our books, we
Right.
now have a hands touch. We can just bring it up. It's a lot easier to grab, just go into it. And you talk about the screens up and down, whether we can see in or out.
Yes.
Well, some days we tend to want to put them down because it's too much sun.
Right.
So
Right.
that's funny to us. I'm like, we always wanted to have
Sure.
see the sun and see
Right.
out.
Right.
Now we're not. Can you put it down a little bit? Let's raise them up a little bit later.
Right.
But no, that's the best part about it. We can see everyone.
Right.
We can see people.
Right.
You're not just in, like you said, like a bunker.
Yeah.
We thought we was in the basement, and we weren't. We weren't.
Right.
Yeah,
And
we
again,
were
I
not.
think that's, you talk about, it seems like this space and the work environment very flexible.
Yes.
For depending upon the needs of the people who are staffing here. You talk about the individual stations and the fact that you have your desk and your equipment, but again, it's set up for the user, correct? Not to say
Yes.
that sharing is not going to work, but I know there were limited, you were limited on resources, and some of the technology is a little bit
yeah.
older in the old site, and it needed some upgrading. And this really has done it in combination with the new municipal building and everything coming together. And this, was kind of the last key component to happen. You're on the second floor over here, right across from the police headquarters right there. So again, great location.
Yeah, I think we're the heart of the city. Actually, we now have 14 workstations.
Right.
And where we didn't have 14 before, we really
Sure.
had 8.
Right.
So
Right.
from 8 to 14, yeah, this is magnificent. But everyone seems to kind of still go to where they want to
Sure.
be.
Right.
They can work anywhere.
Correct. Correct.
Across the room, from side to side. The supervisor, we actually have our own workstation now in our office. So I moved from station 1 to station 2 today.
Right.
I'm just so used to just going to one station
Sure.
and just sit there. Now I can go and just
Right.
pick and choose or work on the floor.
Now, because of some of the hours and some of the situations, and again, if we have an emergency, staffing level, the amount of hours you may be here may change. But talk about some of the other amenities that are offered in this facility to help the people that have to be here those late hours or those early hours, as the case may be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's set up to really make it more of I use the word loosely, friendly work environment. But just if you talk a little bit about some of those amenities too.
Oh yeah, when we come in, actually we get to come up on the elevator or we can take the stairs. But
Right.
however, when we come into the center,
Yes.
we do have a roll call room, which is larger.
Right.
We have a smart board in there. We're still getting used to using that.
Sure.
We have our TV monitors in every areas that we have here.
Right.
Again, I was talking about the supervisor workstation. We're raised from the floor. So we have a little time to sit up, stand up, and we can still see our people and raise the consoles down.
Correct.
With our office here, we have our own workstations there. We can actually have our own time to go and do some paperwork.
Got it.
But we also have a kitchen.
Right.
That's like the most important thing.
Sure, right.
So we have a kitchen, it's fully staffed.
Correct, sure.
Fully set up.
Right.
And but just having the space to walk around from every place and still have the open window. Our supervisor, she gets to see us from time
Right.
to time looking in.
Sure.
So she's not right down the hall where we can actually have a conversation. She's in it.
Correct.
But and now we have I don't know if you can see, but we do have speaker where we can actually intercom where we can talk to someone
Got it.
out in the hallway.
Got it.
So everything is great. Everything
Good
is
deal.
bigger.
Good deal.
We have, and in our kitchen we have more set up like a lounge
Right,
area,
right.
so you can actually sit back, relax a little bit before coming in. We have a room that's set up for testing for our new hires coming in.
Correct.
Or before they are hired.
Sure.
And so we have everything spaced out now. Copy your room.
Right.
Everything has a label.
Got it. Got it.
We didn't have that before.
And I think, certainly given the stressful nature of how the job can be at times, it gives y'all the ability to kind of ebb and flow, again, that flexibility dependent upon the needs of the staff, correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We do. We haven't had disaster or event yet.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, but this will house. I think
Yes.
we actually have an area or just areas enough that we can stay here if need to.
Correct.
And I think the night that they actually switched over,
Right.
that was something that I think they were here every night, overnight.
Sure.
They could kind of bunk down a little bit just to
Right.
relax. So it was a
Right.
little bit more space to just spread out.
Okay.
Yeah, and rest if need to come back in. Like I said, we have the workstations now, so we don't have to be crowded all over each
Correct.
other. Everyone
Correct.
can at least go to a workstation and
Right.
sit down.
Okay, well, we're going to take a little time and go talk to one of Dell's coworkers and find out, again, their thoughts about, again, the crystal clear digital signal that we have now, which, again, makes a big difference as far as with the radio communication. So we're going to go and take a walk over there. We're now here with Emergency Communications Operator Jody Holloman. Jody, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little. We talked to Dell already a little bit about some of the upgrades and things, but as a user, you're sitting here. Of course, we have someone else filling in for you for the moment. But what is the sound quality and some of the enhancements that have made? How has it made your job maybe a little bit easier?
Well, now being in the new building, they have moved the cell tower, and the officers are coming in really crystal clear now. It's allowed us to be able to hear the officers
Right.
a lot better than the old building.
Right.
There's less static, and everything appears to be crystal clear at this point.
Good deal.
Right now.
Good deal. And as far as the workstations themselves, seem like you have a little bit more room.
Yes.
Everybody's spread out a little bit more. How has
Yes.
that made it better for you?
We have at least about 14 consoles here versus I think it was about maybe 7 or 8 consoles at the old building. So
Right.
everybody's able to have their space to themselves.
Sure.
It allows us to focus on what we're doing on our specific channel, and we're able to hear our callers better and just focus on that one caller one at a time.
Right.
So that's better in that sense.
I know it was a long time coming because you looked at the old site, and every time we go in there to do a shoot and talk with you or some of your coworkers, I
Right.
mean, I referred to it. It kind of looked like a bunker or something. Y'all were just in there.
All on top of each other. That's correct.
But now, again, the spacing, the work, I mean, everything seems like it's fresh. And of course, the biggest upgrade was the equipment, which helps, again, you communicate with the people in the field communicate with you.
That's correct.
Work with callers. And I think it's just more of a conducive and ergonomic work environment for you to
Right.
kind of, you're going to have to be here for long periods
Right.
of time. So
Right.
a nicer environment makes a big difference,
That's
doesn't it?
correct. Yes, it does. Yep. With all the new computer screens
Yes.
and everything, we're able to see a whole lot better. Everything is nice and spacious here
Right.
at your computer desk and everything. So
And then I think also the amenities that are inside the facility that y'all have access to.
Yes, we
You know,
do.
you can when you take your break, you have a nice place to go to,
Right.
and the training opportunities and everything
Right.
that's here. Everything is enclosed, and it's just and I always keep saying you have windows, but the fact that you can actually see what's going on outside,
right.
and as Dell and I talked about the fact with the monitors and
Right.
everything here, y'all have a really good feel for what's kind of going on out there that you can transmit to the other people in the field, right?
Right, that's correct. Now, maybe if we get an accident call or something like that, we do have the capability of being able to actually pull that screen up, the
Right.
location of the accident, and actually being able to see it. And also, you talk about the different areas of the new communication center. We do have a quiet room now.
Right.
So maybe if we dealt with a tough call, we are able to go and just relax in the quiet room now. So
Right.
we do have different little areas within our center that are, it's a good thing at this point now. So that's,
And I think you talked about some of the being able to see the streets and things in some instances
Right.
where those cameras are positioned. For y'all to be able to see what's going on out there, it's got to make a huge difference because I mean, certainly over years of experience, you've been here. What you said about 6 years.
right, that's correct.
So I mean, you've gotten the feel. You know what's going on. You know your way around the city. But to see it really makes a difference when you're communicating
It
to the
does.
people in the field, right?
Yes, because sometimes some callers, they don't know exactly where they are, so
Right.
that is a good feature as well,
Sure.
to be able to actually put it up, and we can maybe help them out with their location. So
Okay. Well, Jody, thanks for spending some time with
Thank
us
you.
and talking about what's going on here with the new Emergency Communications Center. And, again, Jody and her coworkers are reaping the benefits of the new City Hall facility, and especially, again, the Emergency Communications Center for how it impacts their daily lives here while on the job. And as we close out this Safety First, we'll remind everyone there's 2 ways to reach the Emergency Communications Center here in Suffolk. Of course, there's 911 for the emergency calls, but non-emergency calls can also call 923-2350 and hit option 0, and that also will patch you into here, again, for those non-emergency situations. Well, that would do it for this edition of Safety First. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. We'll see you next time.